I'd like to talk to you about opportunity, the opportunity to change not just one life, but many lives. Every time I come to work here at Stanford, I'm humbled about where I find myself. As a graduate of Stanford Medicine, a professor of radiation oncology and neurosurgery, and as the associate dean for the medical student admissions. In January every year, I am excited beyond measure because I have this wonderfully fulfilling opportunity to do this one task that I know is so important. And that is to make these personalized phone calls to students to notify them about their acceptance to Stanford Medicine. It's really amazingly gratifying to hear these shouts of joy and these tears of joy, because for these students who have spent years in preparation and a full year just preparing, they have this anticipation, and this moment is the validation that their hard work has paid off. And so my excitement is that through this kind of act, I invariably change people's lives. This often causes me as well to think back and to reflect when I received my own notification, but that time it was by mail. And as a first generation student, I am from a small town in Delaware. Neither of my parents went to college. I had these concerns about whether or not I could even make the reality of this Stanford education because of financial hardship. But when I arrived, I had never even traveled on an airplane. I'd never been to California. But when I arrived on this campus, I was mesmerized by Palm Drive and Memorial Church in the distance. And I immediately felt this feeling that I belong. And so I have not actually left. And so I'm feeling so grateful because through the generosity of strangers, my family has actually been changed. And out of our grief and out of our financial despair, I have been able to contribute to novel research discoveries, to become the co-director of a novel program that changes patients' lives, cyberknife radiosurgery, to become a leader in my field. And through this role of being an associate dean of admissions, to witness this beautiful cycle over and over again as the chief gatekeeper to the profession and witnessing the promise of the next generation. Now, every year we matriculate 90 students, and these 90 students are this eclectic group of accomplished scholars, artists, athletes, and inventors, first-gen trendsetters like myself, disadvantaged individuals from backgrounds with racial and ethnic groups who are underrepresented in medicine, and leaders who have served on the front lines of the COVID pandemic. We are fortunate to have the Arriaga Fund and others like it to be able to support these students to make a Stanford Medicine education a reality so that they can share their enormous gifts with us. So today, I'd like to introduce you to a few of the students who accepted my call. We have Alvaro, who is this tenacious student who's on a journey to become a physician scientist as an MD PhD candidate. And Abu, a second-year medical student whose personal experiences have been just truly inspiring to us all. These are but a few of the 100 stories that we could share with you about the opportunities that you have made possible. Without further ado, Abu.
Thank you, Dr. Gibbs. Every once in a while, you get to experience a moment in your life that changes everything. And today, I'm going to be sharing a few of those with you. So the first moment was back in 2013. I was in Sierra Leone, and this is when the Ebola outbreak had hit. I vividly remember this moment because first, it was flyers on every corner of the streets. And these were quickly replaced with humans dressed in bleached white hazmat suits going from community to community, picking up dead bodies and also transporting sick individuals. Nothing like this had ever happened before. It was absolutely frightening. Everyone around me was scared. I was scared. But the worst part of it all, which I'm sure everyone in this room is familiar with, is that it absolutely sucks when there's nothing that you can do about it. My friends lost family members. I lost family members. And the more this continued and the more I felt so helpless on the side, I decided that I wanted to pursue medicine as a career with the hope of at least paving the path to make sure that we have a better way forward. And that brings me to my second moment. I was 15, I moved to the US, and this was my first time living away from my family and my home. With the experiences from the Ebola still fresh in my mind, there were a lot of things that I wanted to do, but I had to first learn how to survive in my new environment. It was the first of many firsts, from applying to colleges, to taking classes and navigating the pre-med path. On most days, it was incredibly challenging, and there was not really a clear sight forward. But I just had to trust that things will eventually fall into place. And they did. And that brings me to my third moment. And this one involves Dr. Gibbs. It was when I got the call that I had gotten into Stanford Med. To picture it, it was late at night. I was already in bed in Ohio, and I got the call, and I jumped so hard I hit the ceiling, and the light bulb went flying, and it shattered. But I didn't care. I just phoned my mom in Sierra Leone, and I gave her the news, and we just screamed on the phone. Now, for you to understand what that meant, this scream to me was the culmination of years of sacrifices that was poured into a dream that was now coming to fruition. This scream was not just hope for myself, but also for my family and for my community as well. This scream was also, oh no, it was me realizing that I had gone into medical school and that I was actually going to do this. But this scream was also gratitude, knowing that I will not have to worry about financing my education, that I can just focus on learning and growing. And during my time here at Stanford, that's exactly what I've been able to do. Through my research, I get to listen to the stories of Ebola survivors and their family members on the impact that the epidemic had on them. As manager of the Stanford Cardinal Free Clinics, I get to go in every Saturday to work with other individuals who are just equally as passionate to addressing some of the health disparities we experience in our community here. I get to go into the community to understand really vaccine hesitancy in Black communities, but also I get to do this work and advocate for equitable vaccine distribution, not only in Sierra Leone, but globally as well. It is truly incredible, and I can't wait to continue doing this for the rest of my life. Now, in all of those circumstances I mentioned, someone had to guide me through some of those. Someone took a chance in me, but it is through your generosity that I truly get to live my dreams, to pave a path forward for my community so that things will be better than it was growing up. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Alvaro?
Hi. This evening I want to tell you how 3 phone calls opened the door to unimaginable opportunities for myself. In late February 2016, the medical school interviews had just ended for me, and I was working at a biotech startup. I was in the middle of preparing for experiments when I received a phone call at 2 p.m. Hello? Hi, Alvaro. This is Dr. Iris Gibbs. I got scared. My heart started pounding. I was thinking a million different things. Did I forget to turn something in? Was it April Fool's Day? Could this be it? I composed myself and waited. Then I listened. Congratulations, acceptance. I felt so relieved and an immense sense of accomplishment. We did it, I thought to myself. On that day, this was for my family. My parents had worked very hard and tirelessly for many years, from the day when they decided to pack their things and move from Peru to the US in 2013, to 2003, to every single day where they worked tirelessly, multiple jobs, to give an opportunity to myself and my sister, to give us a better chance to do something better. I was a late bloomer. It wasn't until community college when I decided to pursue medicine. For many years, I was the de facto translator for my parents, including their medical visits. It was a routine of blood tests, medical exams, and medications. But this time it was different. My sister, Jackie, was sick. She had gone to the doctor and they could not figure out what was happening with her. The doctors at the county hospital decided to refer her to Stanford. Here, they discovered that a small tumor in her brain was making too many hormones, making her ill. It was that day that I decided to become a neurosurgeon. Deciding to become a physician was the easiest choice I made. Everything else to come was not. I switched majors from engineering to biology. I signed up for science courses, and I decided to create a plan to transfer to a 4-year university. After many years, I was accepted to UC Berkeley. It was hard work, but it was well worth it. Graduating from Berkeley was an amazing thing. Finding a job was my next goal. From a Craigslist ad, I was able to find a job as a lab tech, mixing chemicals and washing glassware. This allowed me to take MCAT courses late at night 4 times a week. I took the MCAT, applied, and interviewed at various medical schools. And so I was just waiting to hear back. So when Dr. Gibbs called, that meant that I get a chance to pursue my dream. She opened the door to a new opportunity. The second phone call occurred during revisit week. This time I was at Stanford meeting my potential classmates and deciding between 2 medical schools. Dr. Gibbs knew that I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. While discussing this, she called me and she told me, "Would you like to meet one?" Up to this point, I've never met a neurosurgeon in my life. She got on the phone and called one of her colleagues, Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee said that he was ready in 15 minutes. I dropped everything, ran from the medical school to the cancer center, and started chatting with him. He told me the amazing things happening at Stanford in the medical school, the wonderful research opportunities in neurosurgery, and the innovation happening here. It was such a thrilling experience. I could finally see how both being a physician and a researcher was a possibility here. Now, I'm pursuing a combined degree and I'm working towards developing a therapy for Krabbe disease, a genetic disorder that affects infants' brains. All of this seems surreal to me. 3, the last phone call was Dr. Gibbs again. This time, last month, she asked me to be part of this event and tell a little bit about myself to the people who made my dream possible. Honestly, I am so grateful to be here today, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your kindness, your goodwill, and generosity.